Yeah, you can ask that, yeah, in your report.
239.
If I don't, you be
I
quick.
will. Okay, 56.
All right. 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock and we will call this meeting to order. This is a special called meeting due to the change in date. So we will only be able to discuss what is on our agenda. So just be careful when you are speaking about something, not to defer too far away from what's on the agenda. And Magistrate Harmon, I see that you are ready to lead us in our invocation.
Ready to go.
Please, sir.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you this morning for this opportunity to serve you in our community. And Lord, guide us and direct us to make decisions and opportunities to take that will be the best for our citizens. We thank you for our court. We thank you for the cooperation. We all work together, and we know it's because of you. Lord, go with us through this Christmas season. Be with those that are separated from their families, our troops that are on foreign soil and waters, and Lord, that you will protect them, and Lord, help our leaders of our nation, and Lord, that we will be a people that will reach out and help other people. Father, we thank you for the opportunity. If it's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Magistrate Harmon. You all will stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, we have two sets of minutes to approve. We have the November 14th and we have the November 28th. I'll accept a motion to approve, and then we can have discussion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Have a motion by Magistrate Gay.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Bodner. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Katina.
Good job.
Yeah. All right, bills. Ms. Elena.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. Today's amount of bills we need to approve is going to be $2,960,260.36, and there are no last minute add-ons.
I was gonna make a motion.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Bodner, second by Magistrate Sleeper to approve the bills as presented. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Magistrate Gay, I still need the Martin Luther King. Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right, budget transfers, Ms. Darlene.
Okay. I do not think that you have this, but I'll give you my copy. Budget transfers, I have only general fund. I have a total of $15,693.74. And that is going mostly from into sheriff, a little bit of movement into AOC, a movement of one invoice from the miscellaneous line and into Constitution Square.
Move we pay the bills or make the transfers as presented.
Okay, have a motion to approve budget transfers by Magistrate Gay. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion? Was that in their packet?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like, you don't have one in here. I forgot, I didn't come back up here, I just moved it over. I would like to make it known that the $1,152.35 for Constitution grounds maintenance is from the Friends of Constitution Square Endowment Fund.
Okay.
So,
That's very good. All right. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Cash transfers?
I have no cash transfers at this time.
Okay. And approve a new line item.
I actually have two, and I realized I missed a zero. The first one is 015085571100, other county properties improvements. This is just a very general line for little tidbits of things here and there that might need to be moved. The other is 015085578000, which is other county properties utilities. And this is something that we could actually combine a few different things like White's Park, things like that that are, we don't spend a great amount on, but we can combine them and have them still all work and be shown individually.
I'll make the motion that we approve the new budget line items.
Second.
Have a motion by Magistrate Gay, a second by Magistrate Harmon. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
And I'd like to also point out, I think you all have your check, the bank rec in your packets,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
a
I
check
like that.
register from last month.
I like that
Thank
really
you.
well.
Thank you for adding that.
Yes, I like it.
Good information. That good? All right. Okay, moving on to old business. Road Supervisor Roger Johnson is going to talk to us about Medlock Bridge.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to do an update on Medlock Bridge. We have already ordered the bridge, so it's in the works. And then Mr. English is going to do the contract work on that. Y'all got that information about, the kind work that we're going to do with that. So just want to let y'all know that that's all in place. Just waiting on bridge, waiting on, weather. So that's going to happen pretty soon.
Any projected date at all?
No, not at this time. I think the bridge package was 2 weeks out, so it's going to be a little bit. Of course, you got the holidays and all that, so it's actually going to be after the first year. But Mr. English is going to try to get us in pretty quick. They're doing a bridge now up in northern Kentucky. So he says as soon as he gets done with that, if the weather permits, he'll be right here. So
Everything arranged that's coming from out of state, right?
yes, sir.
Everything arranged from DOT, because that's.
Well, now they're delivering it, so
Yeah.
that's
their responsibility.
their responsibility, yes.
Okay. Because I know they're gonna hit some roads. and
Right,
things
right, yeah, I've talked to them about that, and since they're hauling it, that's on them to do
that-
that.
And we're not touching it, unloading or anything, right?
Well, we might be unloading it,
Cool.
because I think what they want to do is they want to get the bridge package there before he starts tearing the old bridge out. So we might have to go down ourselves and unload the truck, the bridge package.
Okay.
And then just as soon as he gets there, tears the bridge out, the bridge package will be there and everything. So we wanna do that before.
Have it ready.
Have it ready, have everything there. I don't wanna get the bridge tore out and then go, well, it's gonna be another week before we get it.
Yeah.
So we'd have two heavy pieces of equipment to get it off their trailer?
Yes, well, I mean, we can take care of that, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I think we're good. It's just, the timing and everything.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
all right.
All right.
Any other questions? Good? Everybody good?
Thanks for the update.
Y'all welcome.
Appreciate it. Okay, new business, Shannon Greene, payroll officer. Morning,
Just here to
Shannon.
have the sheriff's training incentive approved for Sheriff Taylor Bottom.
Motion. Approve the.
Okay, have a motion to approve by
Second.
Magistrate Bodnar, second by Magistrate Ellis. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Next, we have Shepherd's House, and we have Ashley Dowell and Stacy Ford with us today. Welcome, ladies.
Hello. My name's Ashley Dowell. I'm the program director of the Shepherd's House. I'm going to share an update that I have, and then I'm going to let Stacy talk, okay? So right now, we have 31 active clients. One is an inpatient. Our numbers have increased significantly recently. Our referrals are made up from rocket dockets, probation and parole, court assessments. Last month when I sent, or this month when I sent billing for November, we had 46. That's one of the highest numbers we've seen in a while. But as of now, we have 31 active clients. Our women's beds are filling up. We have 2 open beds. I'm considering with the women's house and women in this community in Boyle and Mercer to recommending 6 months of aftercare once they complete the program. This may also go for the 6-month program as well. I just see that when they live in the community and we release them right back to where they're from, that they continue to, you know, do the same thing over and over. So if 6 months may possibly, it would be minimal on what they had to attend, but we would still be able to monitor them. We're excited to join the homeless task force. Stacy and I are the 2 on board right now. Let's see. We're taking donations for a family in need. Stacy has more information about that.
Okay, so I was gonna say, is that cash donations or?
So I think you can just drop them off at the shepherd's house. I know
Okay.
that Stacy has the ages and names of the children.
Okay, so is it like clothing or do you just need cash? To buy?
Like clothing
Okay.
and things that they need
Okay,
right now.
okay.
And then another thing is the Jails to Job program. I know this week it was shut down for COVID. My intentions are to have Jessica out there a minimum of 2 days a week, 3 hours at a time. And another thing I'm going to work on having her do is to make contact with 5 to 10 employers in the community. We're still looking for employers to participate with the Jails to Job program. I'm hoping to make that a little bit better. My plan is to get some employers on board, which we have a couple, and start to teach the inmates soft skills while they're in there with the other programming as well.
Okay.
Now Stacy's a graduate of our program. This is Stacy Ford. She has made a significant impact here recently in the past few months working with people, working with the homeless. So I'll just let her talk.
Excuse me, before we move on, Ms. Dowell mentioned a term that I know we hear often here, but just like HMO, people didn't know what it meant when it first came out 20, 30 years ago. Counselor, explain Rocket Docket so the public really understands the importance of that good program.
Well, the Rocket Docket that we use is where in district court someone might come in, they come in with a felony, and it's a drug crime. It might be a possession. I mean, occasionally we do a trafficking because sometimes it's overcharged. And if they don't have a significant criminal past, especially as it's related to drug, like history or whatever, then we allow them to do what we call a Rocket Docket, where they go and are evaluated, and they'll either do an IOP, which is an intensive outpatient program, or an inpatient program, depending on what their evaluator recommends. And if they're successful completing that program, which we want a minimum of 6 months, and I think it's like, how many hours a week is it, 9 or?
It's 10 hours a week starting off right now, unless we need to increase their level of care.
And at least 10 hours a week. And if they complete that, then we'll amend their felony to a misdemeanor, and then probate that charge 12 months probated for 2 years. And that's good because, I mean, once you get a felony, it's really hard in life to get a job other than some type of minimum wage type job or construction job, things like that. So I think it's been a good program that we've.
Yeah, how do you not
Hart County?
get?
I think Hart County coach got it.
Huh.
Were they in the finals?
No.
No.
Who's Hart County?
It's Mumfordville. Well, we got the.
Well, you have to say the boy Bell County, he was pretty disastrous.
3,800 plus yards,
Well,
55
38, yeah.
touchdowns. I thought that was
Listen
4
to
years.
Mr.
No, that was
Stafford
this
over
year.
Yeah.
How do you know all that?
Of course, you know, our boys, not just my grandsons, but all the boys, they spent 4, 5, 6 games on the sideline because we beat
That's
everybody
right,
so bad.
yeah.
So just think
Oh,
what
that's
their
true.
numbers would have been if they
That's
partied.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
Because we have a
Of
hard.
course, that's my grandmother's speech.
It does hurt them though.
It does, it does. I mean,
Okay.
Stats.
We are back live. Sorry about that. Our streaming went out, but we are now back in session. And Victoria Timberlake with New Hope Food Pantry. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you. I see familiar faces. I like it. So those of you that don't know, I'm Victoria Timberlake. I'm the director of New Hope Food Pantry that is right next door to the Salvation Army. And I was whispering to the girls when they left, Ashley called me Friday and said, we have somebody, can you help them? So that's what we do. So just kind of FYI of what they do, what we do. If they call me and say they are a client of the Shepherd's House, good, send them on.
Yeah.
I don't need anything else but, because they're trying.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying.
Yeah.
So I don't care where they're from,
Right.
makes me no difference. So brought them on and they shopped and sent them home, and I said to the girls, the family that you're speaking of, give me a call. You know, whatever food they need, we try to provide 2 weeks worth of food, but you know, food costs are ridiculous, so about a week and a half now, but that's the goal. So the reason I'm here is we have bought a lot and we're looking to build our own building on this lot. At the moment, we lease a terrible, awful, rundown, cold, expensive building. And what we're doing is the lot is paid for. We had money from a foundation out of Tennessee and they donated $100,000 and said, you can only use it for one of these 3 things: buy, build, or remodel. I want to build, but I had to spend all of that money because this is Danville on a lot. So if you're going down Houstonville Road and you're looking at Advanced Auto, and Aldi's is on the hill to the right, and 10th Planet is back behind that, how about that green space?
Okay.
So that allows us, our wheelchair-bound folks, there's sidewalks
Yeah.
from the housing authority all the way
Is
there.
that where all the barns used to be?
Yes, that's what everybody knows it as. It's the barn lot. So how about the barn lot? You all are in now know. But anyway, so that allows them to be able to get there in their wheelchairs, their motorized wheelchairs. The folks that walk and they drag behind them little radio flyer things, or they push carts that have mysteriously disappeared from Walmart. Whatever, we have sidewalks all the way to our door. So what I'm doing with you guys is, I'm looking for sponsorship. Okay, because I mean, it is the county. The numbers, by the way, the last accurate ones I have are from July. And from January through July, we had 480 families that are Boyle County residents. And we had 1,464 that are Danville City residents. Okay, you all, I am not territorial. Danville's in Boyle County, right?
Amen.
So
Preach.
add that together.
Preach.
I left the mayor's office before I came here. So add all that together, and that's the number that we serve.
We thought that sounded familiar.
Right? I've been practicing. Oh, boy, yeah. Yeah, so those are from July. I mean, we do monthly numbers.
That's a lot of county families.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's a lot. There's a huge need. I would love to shut the doors because there's not a need, but you guys know that is not going to happen. So this is my official bid list. Okay, y'all don't get it, but I'll show it to you. So what it is, total project without interior things meaning shelving, new refrigerators, those kinds of things. That's not included in this number. But this number totals $175,108. That's for materials, framing, roofing, putting up the metal, the footer work, concrete, the labor for the concrete, gravel, plumbing, sewer, HVAC, and electric. Okay, that's what all this list says. So what I'm asking you guys is, can you sponsor one or two of these services? You know, could you guys take on, I don't care, just pick something, it doesn't matter to me. Clearly not materials, that's $47,468. Framing is $16,000, roofing is $5,500, metal sides are $5,800. You know, there's wiggle room, anything from $5,000 to $47,000.
When are you planning on starting?
As soon as I get some sponsorship.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, because so me and the husband own a plumbing company. So I have done enough new constructions to know you don't start this until you've got that lined up. I can't start anything until I have the funds to do the first 4 things.
Right.
Because I can't push it out and then not be able to pour
Right.
concrete to put back in there.
Will you and your husband be the project managers?
That will be me. Yeah. He has the plumbing company, which I don't know if it's a conflict of interest to have him to do that or not. I sure hope not, but we'll find out. But anyway, so it'll all be
Donating
me.
the labor?
What's that?
Is he donating the labor?
Yes.
And there you go.
He will.
He will be persuaded.
I'm sure he will. I am certain of this.
There's your
So,
appropriateness.
yeah, so some of this I can get done pro bono.
Right.
So this is, what I told all of the contractors was, I need a rough estimate so we have somewhere to start from. What number am I looking at? And I'll just tell you guys, the gravel, $11,000. That's 600 tons, 24 triaxle loads. That's what that's gonna cost. I've already talked to Mr. John. It's all donated. Okay, we have all of that donated.
Wow.
The plumbing labor will be, so some of this we don't need, but the money, the difference is what we'll use to buy the shelving, to buy the ceiling fans, to put the linoleum on the floor, those kinds of things. This is to get the building built with some heat and some air in it.
Right.
That's what this number is. So I can get these bids, formal bids, if you guys need them, or whatever particularly you want to sponsor.
Right.
I can get that in writing, but this was kind of a real quick get together, and I called, because all these guys are friends of mine, because we do the plumbing, and I called them all and said, I know it's 4:30 on Friday, but I need this like tomorrow, because I'm talking to these wonderful people Monday. And they're like, okay, here you go, this is what we can do.
Well, I have an idea of what Magistrate Gay's going to say, but what is the pleasure of the court?
Yeah.
Yeah, and what I was gonna say is that the budget process is coming,
Yes.
and we can work it
Into
in
the
during the
budget.
budget process.
Right.
But also, I'm excited about it. I
Yeah.
think it is very
I do
much
too.
needed, and it sounds like you're working on it being kind of a good old-fashioned community barn raising.
Oh yeah, these are all local, these are
With,
local contractors. These are people you guys know and go to church with,
Yeah.
these are local folks.
And so I would like to think that we can be involved, but, and that's where I think the judge's comment about the timing is a matter of importance.
We
Because
start our-
we're right now in the very, very middle of our budget year. And so so that's, would be my only concern.
Could we
Because-
make a budget pledge, and then the money would be available July 1, when the new budget comes out?
If you're asking my permission, if that's okay, no, I need it now.
Yeah.
If I have to wait till July, I'll be happy to.
Well, I think that's what Magistrate Gay is referencing, is our budget
Yes,
process.
yeah,
and-
no,
yeah,
that's
and-
fine.
We don't have any funds that are set aside for anything like that. I mean, that we already have in the budget. I can't think of anything. That would,
Darlene?
yeah.
But most of that is,
While you're thinking there, let me speak as chair of the jail committee. I've been here 5 years, and processes that we have to go through are costly. We have an architect. We have had to suspend things for a period of time because we're not yet ready. have you gotten an architectural rendering of the building that you propose? I mean, some of these things, just like you said, the Gantt chart says things fall in place. And that first thing is the architectural rendering, which, unless you can find somebody, could be costly.
So I have a rough one of the outside of the building that I can pass my phone, but I didn't know to print it off.
Yeah.
But yes, I do. So what we're looking at is if money is there, bigger, but this is based on a 40 by 60 metal building.
Like a kit or something, you think?
Yes, yeah, because this was Lumber King.
Right,
That
okay.
they quoted all the materials
Yeah.
and stuff. So that's roughly what we're looking at. So with that,
And then for our dollars, unless I'm told differently by counselor, anything that we would be dedicating to this would likely have to go out for bids, because you mentioned that type of building. I know an individual in this community who's in that business. It might not be the one you have. And if we're putting something toward that, we have the awkward circumstance of a bidding process. So I guess what I'm saying is, and I'm lousy at this in my corporate life, an overall plan really needs to be in place, I think, for us under our statutes and our obligations as fiduciaries, to know the overall plan.
I don't know if we're donating a dollar amount that we have to.
We know that it has to
Bid
come to
that.
fruition.
But, yeah, I
I don't think we have to bid that. I mean, it's not.
Well, it's not,
us.
yeah, it's
not
not
our
for us.
project.
She's her own entity, so
Right.
that's
She just want a
really don't have
donation.
anything to do with our bidding process.
Right.
We're just looking at funding or sponsoring a certain item, whatever it may be.
Right.
You know, if you want, sponsor
Right.
for the shelving, like you mentioned, or sponsor the new refrigerator or a new freezer or something like that. I think that's more, is what we're looking at. To answer somebody's question a while ago, Paul, I think it was yours, we do have some community development money
Right.
that we could, set aside a certain amount. Then if we wanted to make a pledge for the budget cycle and then give additional funding, it's whatever you all want to do. But as far as we're concerned, it's just a
Donation.
sponsorship.
The
Yeah.
sponsors.
Tori, could you email us, or the judge or somebody, that list of different
Sure.
items that you went over, and just so that we can have that for consideration, maybe at the next meeting or at the first
And
of the year.
a plan too, that would be
Yeah.
nice
Sure.
to see what we're,
yes,
Looking
yes.
at the
So
sponsor.
the plan is to put the building on that lot with the far end of it facing Advanced Auto. So our front doors would be facing like
okay.
PBK Bank and Ace Hardware, that kind of thing. And we want to put it on the Advanced Auto end of the lot so we can get a semi truck. Because we are partners with God's Pantry.
Right.
So now everything that we order, we have to go to Faulkner Station Road to Emmanuel Baptist Church and unload it from the semi into our vehicles and our trucks, take it to the pantry. So in the drawings, it's big enough that a semi can come in between the Mexican restaurant and come up that way, come into our parking lot, go around the building, have a canopy over that with a bay door
Oh, that's
off
good.
of there into the building.
Oh, that would
We
save you a lot
had,
of
we had a
time.
fella that donated a forklift. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Yeah, so we have, I went and spoke to the Rotary Club. You guys, that is a fantastic group of people. They are fantastic. Lots of parts and pieces, so that's all good.
Yeah.
So the foundation that donated the $100,000 for the lot, that I used for the lot, I have contacted them, and we're looking to do another grant through them. The dollar amount is completely up to them. So if I know what that is before you guys, I mean, I'll certainly update you. We want to be completely transparent. If I have this donated from one place, I will say, thank you guys for letting me come, you know, we're not gonna use that money
That's good.
when you guys can use it on something else, because we're all helping the same people.
Right.
Right.
Doesn't have to all go to us, you know, we don't care.
Right. Well, let me
So-
give you this card. This is Tina. She's the
I've talked to her, doesn't it?
administrative
Yeah.
assistant.
Okay.
And Julie's got one too.
Okay.
If you'll just email both of them,
Okay,
and then they can disseminate to the magistrates a copy of the plan. Yeah, the funding list with the amounts, and then maybe we could sponsor an item, you know, based on that.
okay,
And then we'll bring it back up on our next agenda, and I think that'll give everybody
I
time.
think that will.
Of course, it's only about a week and a half to our next meeting, so our
Yes.
next
Okay.
meeting is 21st. Yeah.
okay, so then potentially I would hear something like the first of the year,
Mhm.
what a pledge would be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
Think
that's
so.
huge, knowing,
Yes.
I don't want to over ask.
Right.
You know, I don't ever want to do that. So is this official enough, or do I need to put it on letterhead, type it up?
If you could type it
Well,
up and
type
send
it up in
it
an email.
an email or something.
Yeah, just in the.
Just type it up in an email.
Okay.
And we'll
then just
send it to the magistrate.
And attach the plan,
the plan.
the drawing. Okay.
All right, you all have anything else for me?
We
Thanks
just
for all you do.
think it's wonderful what you're doing. Yeah.
I so
Extremely
appreciate it.
important.
Yeah.
It really is.
Love it, love it. So just give you guys one more set of numbers. So November, we I hate the word serve, but anyway, there was 300 Boyle County families that came through the pantry in the month of November.
Wow.
So that is 600 and something individuals.
Wow.
They shop one time a month, so these are not duplicate numbers. The people that come in on November 1st get counted, and the people November 30, 31st, whatever it is. There's a huge need, which takes a huge amount of food. And they literally come in and shop. We don't do boxes. They're not just come in and pick up a box. Because people are going to eat what they're going to eat regardless of how hungry they are. We don't want them hungry at all. We want them to pick and choose. So they literally come in and shop. We just say you can have this many from here based on the number of people in their house.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that
That's
works.
Yeah,
And
that's
we're
great.
all volunteers. Nobody gets paid. We have no paid staff. I'm a volunteer director, volunteer managers. Nobody gets paid. So every penny dollar, every penny dollar, no, you all know what I'm trying to say?
Everything.
Goes to the service.
Exactly. So we have four bills. We have KU, we have the rent, we have the liability insurance, and we have food.
Water?
So,
Water bill?
nope,
No.
because we share with Bubbles and Bows.
Oh, okay.
They use all the water.
Mhm.
We don't need any water. We
Okay.
just wash hands every now and then.
Uh,
That's all we have.
Yeah.
So I have 3 churches that they sponsor the electric bill, the lease, the liability insurance. So every other dollar goes to purchasing food.
That's awesome.
Do you
And
have
we purchase
volunteers who go around at the end of the day to the restaurants to see what they can give you?
They won't donate anything to us because we can't take it.
Yeah.
I can't take it. Per the health department, I can't get it from them timely enough and transport it cold enough
Right.
to get it to my place. So we're open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So if we go to pick up something on Tuesday and we're not open again until Thursday,
Yeah.
we run a high risk of making some people sick.
Yeah.
So the only things that we can get donated are non-perishable things. So that comes, Kroger is fantastic, Walmart's fantastic, we shop at them, we shop at Save-A-Lot, we shop locally.
That's good.
And then kind of fill in the holes with God's Pantry because we need to remain partners with them.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
Chick-fil-A sponsoring us?
Chick-fil-A is fantastic, I haven't ate there yet, but yes, the
Okay.
little manager girl called me and she said from the day we open until you say stop it, we will have a donation box and everything that comes in will go to you.
Okay.
They're fantastic. Save a lot. All of the creme de cruiser things at Kroger, they all come to us. All the bags that they have, this is chili fixins, all of that comes to us. So
What's the
local
number
folks.
one item that you would request if somebody wanted to donate? What's the number one item that you constantly need?
It's seasonal. Right now, it's turkeys and hams.
Okay.
You know, November, December, turkeys and hams, because they're shopping for their Thanksgiving Day meals.
Okay.
They
See,
shop with
this
us
is an
first.
ironic situation to me because I'm familiar in Louisville with tremendous cooperation, and I want to talk to our health department about this, because on those days where you're going to be there the next day and the next day, restaurants in Louisville are doing this all the time. And they can time it with the days you're in and the days you're not in, because if you can get turkeys and hams and keep them refrigerated, then there ought to be a way to be able to work cooperatively and collaboratively, health department, transport, refrigerated, and get it to you.
There has to be.
If I weren't familiar with that, I wouldn't bring it up. But
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is because we are, relatively speaking, so small.
Possibly.
You know, we're talking Cheddar's. It's in the entire world, and we're a nonprofit that has no paid employees. You know, we look like a fly-by-night kind of place, and corporate's like, no. Mm-mm. Because they will go home with a meal from Cheddar's, and they'll get sick, and they'll sue us.
Yes, that's
You
right.
know, and we're protected under the Good Samaritan law.
Right,
But Cheddar's don't care.
right.
Right.
They're-
You know, they're huge. So
I really think
that's-
we need to look into that and talk to our health department director.
Yeah, there
And
has
if,
got
and
to
if you
be a
get that
way.
sophisticated building, in a year you'll have refrigeration and it'll work all the better, so.
Right, and I have even asked, because you all, those of you that know me, Terry Harmon and Kim Good, I really know that I don't care at all to say, we need help, we need this, we need this, we need this. Now, if you say no, great. We'll still be friends and have Christmas together, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Right.
So I have asked a dozen organizations for a refrigerated box truck. That's all we need. That's the gap.
Connection, yeah.
That
Connector.
we have that's the gap. We need a refrigerated box truck.
Okay.
Put that on your list. You want to add that to my list?
Add that to your list. Add that to your list with an amount.
Y'all do anything else?
Thank
for
you,
me?
Victoria. No, we
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Thank
you.
Appreciate you coming, and we'll have you on the
Thank you. I
next
know.
agenda.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Master Sleeper, we need Clerk McCoy.
There he is. Come on.
Morning.
Good morning. Alright. Of course, the main reason I'm here is everyone knows, well, I hope everyone knows that we're going to be closed the first week of January and pretty much the whole second week of January. Our office is due to open back to the public January 11th. During this time, of course, you know, we still have to make payroll for our employees, even though we're not going to be bringing money in. The good thing is once we do open back up, we will get that money back just because everybody coming in once we do open. There's a few options as far as being able to pay for payroll. I assume the first payroll of the month, and obviously, and maybe the second one until we can get enough money in our account to pay for payroll. The first option is the clerks are now eligible to do a state advancement through the state, but that being said, we have to have the budget done and have to have it okayed and have to have the paperwork in. So I don't know if we have enough time to get all that done to be able to get the actual check to pay for payroll, which we would have to in turn pay back to the state. A second option is, of course, if the fiscal court would front the money to the clerk's office for us to pay back probably that next month or the month after. A third option is we would dip into our excess fees from the year 23 and pay for the first payroll or two out of the excess fees, and then turn around once we have the money and pay that money back to the excess fees. Speaking with clerks around the state, they're kind of doing all different ways. Some are doing the excess fees, which I'm fine with. Some say that auditors don't like it when you start mixing years up from 23 to 24 and 24 to 23. So either way, I let you all know I'm fine either way. We can take it out of our excess fees and pay it back, or if you all feel comfortable and want to front the money and us pay it back within 2 months probably of us. It's up to you all.
What's your-
I'm sorry, I was gonna ask if our treasurer has a recommendation on which way she
I
would
would say,
prefer.
I agree with the auditors. I mean, they do not generally like for you to
Yeah.
commingle.
Yeah.
So, and it could come up with, you know, they will at least make a statement about it. It may not be an actual finding, but it will be a statement.
And I'm fine with that in the end, because this isn't normal time for the clerk's office. Clerk's office, you'll never see this probably ever again.
Right.
The clerk's office closed for, I mean, the whole state's gonna be closed for an entire week.
So you don't have a preference one way or the
I don't
other?
have a preference one way or the other.
Okay.
Whatever's easiest for the county, whatever's easiest for you all.
What about the recording department? Will they continue to,
The deeds and land
function?
records will be open.
okay, so they will be taking in money?
And we will be open to, yes, they will be taking in money as
Okay.
normal. And we'll be there for anyone that's filing a run for, we have until January 5th that somebody can file for candidacy to run in the next election. So we'll be there for that. There's just nothing vehicle related, from handicap placards to title transfers to vehicle registration. None of
So
that's
you
gonna
will be having some income,
We
but
will
that'll
have
pay
some-
for like
we
your
will have-
supplies and
Yes, we will have some.
different things
We will
like-
have some, and as far as.
it's just the payroll that needs to be
it's-
covered?
Yes, as far as beginning of the year's supplies and all that, we'll be fine. We
Okay.
won't have to purchase anything.
Okay,
I'm setting that up to end the year to where we'll begin the year to have all the supplies that we need and stuff
Okay.
like that. So,
Okay.
like I said, it's really not, I don't have a preference. I can take a little sting from the auditors if that's what it takes. I really don't, it doesn't really,
I
we
mean,
we can cover it
we can cover.
internally, yeah.
because, like I said, in the
I
next,
have a problem with just covering it and letting them pay us
Just
back.
from-
Yeah. I don't have a problem.
I'll make a
Auditor,
motion if
yeah.
we need it, I'll go ahead and make the motion that we do that front money from the county and get reimbursed post.
Yeah, when you
I'll
start
second it.
collection. Okay, have a motion by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Sleeper, to front the payroll for the county clerk for, you would just go ahead and say the first two payrolls?
we'll say the first two payrolls, and if I can make if we can make enough money to make it
Yeah.
the second part of them, then I'll.
Or you can come back?
We'll come
Okay,
back.
so we'll
Of
go
course,
with the first two
That
payrolls?
could be contingent on things really being opened up on the 11th.
That is
Right.
That is true. I
That's
mean,
why if you need to come back, you
the
can.
reason they're being closed for the entire week is they're downloading all the data from what they call Avis to Cadus, so heaven forbid that could go bad, and then not to mention as they
If that goes bad, we're all in for
we're in
it.
trouble, we're in trouble. But as they incrementally open the offices the next week is what could take, if they're struggling on Monday when they open up, because they're opening up the bigger office, Jefferson County, Fayette County, they're starting with those, and then it trickles down. So as long as nothing major happens those first couple days, I feel like we'll be fine opening
Let's
up.
do that, the first two.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion, any other discussion on that?
Your clarification.
Yeah, the first two pay periods.
First two payrolls.
And then if needed, we can come back and add another pay period or two onto it.
Okay. All right. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Can I say just a couple more things?
Only if it pertains to payroll,
Okay.
because it's a special call meeting.
All right. I was just gonna say our office hours changed for
Oh, well,
That's related.
that's related.
We have extended our office hours from Wednesday, December 20th through the 22nd, and December 27th through the 28th.
That's this,
Yes.
okay, so that's in the packet anyway.
We have extended our hours from 8:30 to 5 all those days to help to try to get more people in that we can, since we're going to be closed on the 29th and on
And
January
we got some
1st.
weird days for the holiday too.
It is. It all feels so. It just makes it harder on the public to get in and get all their stuff done because of what's going on. So, but that's all I wanted to say.
And you're blasting this out on a lot of different,
Yeah, I was.
Medias,
Of course, social media. Tom helped me get on the news last week. I was on the Joe Show this morning talking about it. I could get your all's advice if I should put it in the newspaper. I know that's
I think it's important.
It is, but it's a heavy expense also for a limited amount of people to see it is what is the
We can
way.
put it on our fiscal court, or the county page.
Yeah, it's
I
already
think
on.
it's already there.
It's already there.
Yeah.
You might go to the Christian station, that's technically your,
WDFP.
Yeah, I can do that.
They're very
Alice
reasonable
Springs.
there.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
very
I know
good.
that. Yeah.
They probably do it for free.
no, they will, yeah.
But, either way, but I'm just saying,
Don't speak for
I
other people.
wanted to put it in the newspaper. I honestly just feel like it's a waste of taxpayers' money to put stuff in there.
Surely they would take a news release on something.
Could you make it as a press release? Or?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
Well, Julie?
Okay, we'll let Julie work her magic. Press release.
Works for me. Anyway, we get it out word of mouth, and I ask if I share anything, if I add anything on the Facebook page, the clerks, I just asked if y'all would share it on your accounts and.
Sure.
Yeah.
and the
We,
county's
I try
accounts.
to
Yeah, you
keep
do.
watching
Everybody
and
does.
do
Everybody
that, so,
does.
yeah.
Everybody does.
All right.
That's all I got.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
good luck.
I appreciate it. Be patient.
Ally Huff. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You call Tony.
Yes, okay.
Am I supposed to connect it?
I think just if you put it on speaker, then it'll pick up on our speakers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello, Tom. You are on speaker.
Am I on speaker? Well, good morning, Judge Bonnet, members of the court. As you might know, I had intended to accompany Ms. Huff this morning to the meeting to pay you all a visit, but I got confirmed over the weekend that pesky virus has visited me, so I could not join you. But it's important, I think, to convey my thoughts this morning to you real briefly, and it's about the community work program, the inmate community work program, and how much we appreciate the Perryville Main Street program, that is, appreciates that partnership and the invaluable work that's going on in Perryville. Now, I know my history, you know my history, and I'm very aware of how valuable that program is. We had a robust program when Magistrate Harden was jailer and I was judge, and I know Jailer Wolford has expanded on that, and we've seen the results of that work. And it's just been very important for Perryville Main Street, that whole community of Perryville, and what it does for the county. And I know in my past, again, I know you receive criticism more than you do praise, so I wanted to personally this morning, even if I couldn't be there in person, wanted to convey to you how much we appreciate that partnership and the work that's being done. And particularly I want to convey a special thanks to Jailer Wolford and his staff persons, the folks who manage and administer the program out in the field, Freddie Edwards and Chad Greene. They are just perfect for the job. They do well, they interact with the inmates well. And I want to extend a thank you to the inmates as well, because it's been my experience over the years, there are some very skilled and talented people who have made some personal mistakes, but have also contributed much to their community through that program. And they need a special thank you too. And Allie's there to answer any questions about specifics, the program, with the program, and its impact on Perryville. But I wanted to, as chairman, convey that thanks to you all, and wish you all a Merry Christmas.
Well, thank you, Tony. We appreciate those words, and it is a valuable resource that we have. And a lot of things couldn't get done out in the county if we didn't have the inmate program that Brian runs out there. So we do appreciate your kind words, and we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And get well.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
So just going on that kind of, I won't take up too much, but you know, we actually have them there today. They've been helping us with a quite large of a project of preserving and restoring our artifacts and our archives that have been, we know we have a very large collection and they've been in multiple locations. We are collecting and putting in one spot, and Barry, you know, has seen sort of the beginning parts of that. And so they're there today and tomorrow helping us on the next part of it. And so They have logged hundreds of volunteer hours for us, and not just for Main Street, but for the city, for the battlefield. It has truly, I feel, changed the face of our downtown, the work that they've done. You know, and for an example, one of them that has been around most recently is a stonemason. And so when some of the road was getting done, some of our limestone foundations on our buildings were knocked over, maybe not put back exactly the way they should have been. Well, this stonemason was able to go and fix it to the way it should have been fixed, so that it continues to look preserved and as it would have in the 1840s and 1860s. So that's one example. And then another sort of a success story is, because you know, they are very helpful with our events. They are helping us set up. Invaluable is really the word I want to use. But last year's Turtle Derby, a gentleman who served and helped us was released, and he brought his family to our Turtle Derby and sought me out, found me, and said, you know, I worked hard to help put this on, and I wanted to bring my family to it. And I think that's a success story, that they can feel connected to the community in which they were helping. And so I was very thankful to see him and excited, and thought hopefully you all would enjoy some of those stories.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Too. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
we're just here, just want you all to thank you for that program. Thank you for investing and for the support. It really has changed Perryville.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Allie, as these inmates transition back into the workforce, anything that you could film along the way, even though the stonemason has finished his work, if he's still with us, if he could be sitting there or standing there and pointing to his work, that could be a resume piece to go along with a written resume. We talked with James Hunn just a few weeks ago when we had the media out and had 2 inmates in our cells, and told them the same thing. When this gets on television, keep it, because it can help you as you move back into the workforce.
Okay. He's in Perryville today, so I'll make sure I'll get a photo with
Great.
him. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I can send that into Brian. Is that who I need to send that to, or?
Or make sure he gets a copy when his term with us
Okay.
is over with. But
Okay.
yeah, I'd send that to Brian as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you.
Howdy, anything else you want to say?
No, I think you summed it up quite well, Ally. Thank you all.
Get well. Get well.
Thanks so
Thank
much.
you all so
Thanks,
much.
Merry
Ally.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay.
I'll get through it.
I'll get through it. Okay, next is EMS Director Mike Rogers.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Magistrates. We are here today to speak about considering the EMS billing rate adjustment. We did have a meeting last week with the Finance Committee. We went over where our rates are, and basically what happened was we had A&B, our billing company, put together a document that shows what areas around us and EMS services around us, around the state, are charging, and we just took that average rate and we considered that, and you can see the proposed changes. So some of them went up, and actually one of them went down. So
Yeah, I would just add to this on behalf of the Finance Committee, Magistrate Bodner and myself, and several of the EMS personnel. Judge was there. I know our treasurer was there, Darlene, and Julie, I believe, was there as well. So we had a good meeting out at EMS, and much discussion about these rates. And as Director Rogers was saying there, you can see where we basically settled on our rate chart. And so I would make the motion that we do approve the rates as presented.
Okay, I have a motion to approve the rates as presented by Magistrate Gates. Or a second?
A second.
Second by Magistrate Bodner. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
thank you, Judge. The second thing on the agenda is the Credit Clearinghouse of America. That's our collection agency. We reviewed all these in the Finance Committee too, all the policies and procedures that we have as far as EMS billing. The initial contract for our collection agency was done in 2009, so I thought it might be prudent to go ahead and renew it and update that. And so that was in your packet, and if you have any questions on that.
Any changes from last time to
The
this time?
contract hasn't changed.
Okay. So we're just renewing,
We're just renewing it.
And I would
as
just
is.
say on that, we also had a good discussion at that meeting about this entity, and we talked about, one of the things, it is difficult to collect, and so, we often have a lot of lagging collections. But one of the things the committee also was recommending at that point in time is that we go 2 years back and continue to aggressively collect some of these, including the possibility of legal action as warranted to garnish wages, and we were informed that this wouldn't be a surprise to people that owe debts in this way, because they are continually receiving letters to notify them of their owed debts, and so we just felt like it was appropriate to be a little more aggressive, realizing that it is a difficult job to collect on these. So I'll make the motion that we renew the contract.
Okay, thank you, Master Gay. Have a motion to approve the contract as presented. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Magistrate Ellis. Any discussion?
Yes, Judge. Mike was very kind and called me about this because even 5 years ago I brought up the concept of uncompensated care in the healthcare field, and across Kentucky it literally goes into the hundreds of millions of dollars. Mike was very reassuring that we're not putting a burden on people on a debt, but we're reminding them of their responsibility, which if we don't do that is transferred over to every other taxpayers. In our conversation,
Right.
I made a parallel to Julie's incredible success for now. The number is over 700,000.
Yes.
There are
It's getting close to 80.
there are a lot of businesses out there that have not been paying their taxes, and just a little bit of aggression. Counselor, did you have to pursue it after Julie's reminders very much,
We
percentage-wise?
pursue stuff. I have to file suits every once in a while.
But
A lot of times it's me making a phone call, and then they pay. So.
and so as a parallel circumstance, doing this and benevolence in tell what you did about how they'll go after it for $5, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so our billing agency, they will accept a $5 payment on any bill. So as long as you're paying $5 a month, I mean, you can even skip a month, it's not going to turn you over to collections. So.
But there are others who could pay it immediately, so.
Good faith effort.
Yeah, and one of the things I didn't mention, though, that I think is appropriate to mention is this same entity also collects for the hospital and other healthcare providers in the community, and so they have a good understanding of our community and our people that they are collecting from.
I have a question.
Yes,
Do we have our administrative code addresses how we collect for EMS? Do we have a designated collection agency? Do you have one?
That's who this
That
is.
is who you're talking about?
Yes.
Because it says here that if the billing service shall turn over to Boyle County Fiscal Court's designated collection agency all accounts with a balance more than 180 days. So it sounds like we're supposed to turn it over to somebody else. So we probably need to address that.
It gets turned over to the collection agency.
Yeah, it's not.
So you have two, you're not, okay.
They're two
Gotcha,
different
two
entities.
Okay.
Yep. And I did ask if they would, the collection rate is 30% on all collections and 40% if it's, the litigation part. I asked if we could get a better rate since we've been a customer since 2009. He's not got back with me yet, so.
Good luck.
Well, thanks for trying.
So if he does, we could make a new
Right.
contract, and we
Yeah.
could just
If he
sign
does,
that one.
yes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, any other discussion?
Well done.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Director Rogers. Appreciate that. Okay, Mr. Herron, we have you up next for the motor vehicle ordinance.
Yes, about a month or so ago, the fiscal court spoke, and now I'm doing as they requested as far as a vehicle license fee related to motor vehicle renting companies. I was able to get from Kenton County, they have like 3 counties up there, Kenton and I can't remember the other 2, but they all have like a joint ordinance where they can collect like 3% of rental fees for motor vehicle, or through the motor vehicle licensing. So that's what I've created. It's called an ordinance related to the motor vehicle license fee that may be charged to motor vehicle renting companies contained in House Bill 8 of the 2022 regular legislative session. And basically Boyle County will be charging a license fee of 3% of the gross rental charges from rental agreements for periods of 30 days or less by You Drive It or peer-to-peer car sharing program, or the provision of transportation network company services by a transportation network company. And with that 3% will be applied to, I think it's, you can only use that 3% for certain things, and I think it's promotion of economic development. And then of that 3%, a county can charge a percentage of that 3% of what is collected as a fee for the cost of collecting those license fees. So that's pretty much the ordinance in a nutshell, and this will be the first reading.
Make a motion.
I'm sorry.
Second.
Go ahead. Have a motion by Magistrate Ellis, a second by Magistrate Gay. Any discussion?
I
Counsel-
just don't feel.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Counsel, you have a typo, bottom of page 2, the word exceeds before 11,000 needs an S on it.
Thank you. I will correct that.
And I just still don't, I'm not feeling this adding a new tax. You know, even, it's just gonna affect a very, very small number of people right now. And I don't know, just not feeling it.
Who did you say was going to be responsible for collecting the fee?
Tax admin. You said tax admin.
Tax admin, okay. I was reading and I didn't hear that. Okay.
I would recommend we start this July 1st, otherwise we're gonna have to amend the budget and we could budget it in a new fiscal year.
Okay. So.
I'll amend my motion to July 1.
Okay, so we have a
Second.
motion to enforce the new ordinance, and do we have a number for this ordinance?
I need to get that. I need to figure out which.
Okay, because we can't publish it until we get that
Right.
number. Okay.
We don't publish it to the second reading.
Okay, all right. So we have a motion to approve implementing an ordinance related to motor vehicle license fee that will collect 3%. And this will be from motor vehicle renting company, from the renters of motor vehicles, You Drive It, from the renters of motor vehicle, peer-to-peer sharing program, and transportation network company. In motion, seconded. Any other discussion? And it will be effective July 1, at the beginning of the new fiscal year. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Nay.
Motion carries. Thank you, Counselor. Appreciate that. Okay, Julie is going to discuss the GIS subscription with PVA, and I've asked PVA Krisha Gibson to come in case you all have any questions.
All right, trying to get us into the 22nd century here. Lucretia has a subscription with GIS the state allows her to use, but we cannot access that GIS because we're not a subscriber. So in order for us to get access and be above board, I've talked to Lucretia, Trilly's talked to Lucretia, and the city already does this. They have an agreement and they pay just under $5,000 a year to have access.
With January coming up, it's a good time to train the sheriff, the road department, recycling, animal control, me, everybody that needs access to infrastructure, roads, all the kind of things that we need when we're doing our jobs.
Public Works.
Public Works. Sorry,
Yes.
Roger, you're gonna have to learn
Yes.
something new. This is a fantastic opportunity for us to be able to print where the lines run on things, or
Yes.
where, if we're looking at a parcel of property, you won't get a rinky-dink screenshot from me. We could actually do more work, and it would help the sheriff and the road department certainly.
Yes.
So
Tremendously.
we have a resolution here. This is what the city passed. This resolution would allow us to subscribe to GIS service.
This is I make the motion, and then go ahead.
Okay, have a motion by Magistrate Gay,
Second.
second by Magistrate Bodner.
And I'll just say that, I mean, GIS is a tremendous tool
It's amazing.
that, you know, it would be so helpful in so many different ways.
And the bonus is we have an in-house provider that
Right.
Yeah.
whatever we need, she's gonna be available to answer any questions and help us along the way and do the training, so.
Do we know, I think a little jolly fellow might have overheard you talking about this at the Christmas dinner. And it's pretty recently shot footages from the sleigh, right?
Yes. We did the original, in 2020, the presentation came. City of Danville jumped on board, Fiscal Court, just didn't at that point. We actually have a 2023 flight that was flown in March of 2023. One entity that's not present here today in this specific meeting is your county clerk. This will be a huge help for him with the reapportionment that they did, to be able to lay new lines over existing parcel boundaries to see who's where in this. And looking across the room, I see Magistrate Ellis and Magistrate Gay that would have been present at that time at that. It is the same thing. It's at your fingertips on your phone, on a computer with a simple login at any time. So unfortunately, it's another way for you to serve your constituents 24/7 with access at your fingertips. But working, having the access.
We need all the tools on the tool belt.
Having the access that Julie is describing here, I will work with, I spoke with Mike Rogers, along with Roger, and Casey, the department heads. Any GIS information that's available that pertains to specific departments, I will load, so only those specific departments will see those. So your water things or your roads, Roger will have access. There are over 250 plus people that can use this, so we will not go through that. But it will be as simple as a login on your cell phone if you want it home, if somebody calls you to be able to see something. And what we'll do is sit down once Julie and I get together, and she will, have something readily available for magistrates. You can turn on certain things you want, your district, if someone calls you and has a question, a road layer, a current road layer, or projects that happen. So yes.
All right, any other questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve Resolution 23.12.11, referring to the GIS portal and data with the county from the PVA, and the annual fee not to exceed $5,000 for the first 3 years. Is that correct?
So transparency, when I purchased this, I literally divided it by 3. I have a copy of all of that. I was hoping at the time PVA office, city and county would come together. The first flight, it was just myself and the city. The second time around for this new flight would help pay for that. It is, runs, when I sign up to do that, I literally, Julie has a copy of all of that. This is what it cost. I simply divided it 3 ways. Like I said, hoping everyone would participate, and hopefully you will come aboard. And it's a wealth of, it may be different, but it really is, it does move you forward. You're able to see things rather than just logging into Google and knowing things. It's, you'll have access at your fingertips at that point, not having to always, be somewhere to have that. So.
But it's for a period of 3 years.
I did 3 years because
Okay.
what will happen is, yes ma'am, the flight will come up for another bid. At that point, I would like to discuss ownership of the flight. Currently, I, as the PVA, own the flight. So that's why I'm here, and the payment would be made to me. The next flight could be owned by all 3 entities, 4 entities, 5 entities. That is something I will bring at that point, but currently I was quoted a 2-3 year prices, and they let you pay it over a 3-year time period. So that's why it is a 3-year. They allow me 3 years, so I just push it on to make it easier on everyone. Now, when the bid comes up again, it's something all department heads will come together, and ownership at that point could be not just the PVA office. It could be 3 entities. You still would be limited without a GIS person to place things. I still probably would be a main contact to push information. But in 3 years, if the structure looks different for the county and there's a GIS person or there's somebody, then we can look at that again. But yes, that's the reason for the payment.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. And it also refers to the judge executive authorized to sign any documents reflecting the agreement with PVA.
So it is going to be not to exceed $5,000.
Not to exceed $5,000 for a period of 3 years, or this means.
All right.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. We're on board.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next is Joe Myers, Chair of our Ethics Commission.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Thank you
Welcome.
for working me into the docket today, as you see. As you all remember, back on November the 14th, you all decided to give the Ethics Commission a 90-day moratorium on the filing of the financial disclosure forms. And we are working on that, and I wanted to give you all an update, get some feedback, let you know where we're at, and see if we need to do correction in course. So let me just say first that the Ethics Commission, I had initially thought we set this up that we shoot for your second meeting in this month, but I understand that doesn't work, so our commission actually meets on Wednesday. So when I'm speaking having communicated with them, but we have not formulated any policies or whatever, so what I'm going to give you right now is where we're at, and obviously you'll get more later, but at this point in time, we're looking at folks to examine the form itself, its format and its substance. Obviously, whatever substantive changes would need to be made would have to be done through an ordinance modification. So today, basically, we're in the information gathering phase, and we're trying to address this in several ways. And I want to say up front, I can't say this enough, that Julie Wagner's been extremely valuable in this process, has really gotten some great information I think will be useful to you all in this process. So, Julie, I just want to put that on the record. And also to Rich Ornstein from KCON, helpful folks. Basically, we set up meetings for input for folks, I say stakeholders. We've already had a meeting at Perryville City Council. Perryville and Junction City, as you know, are now partners with us in this, and we certainly respect the fact that they may have unique situations that we're not aware of because they have really only been on board, I think, even less than a year. So we're going to be meeting with Junction City this Thursday at 6 o'clock and get their input. Our meeting on the 13th is an open meeting for basically for a special meeting for purposes of allowing stakeholders to come in, like Mr. Blevins, to come in and offer their input, things that they would like to see changed or if they like it or whatever, but to get an idea, because I think sometimes it's educational for us, and I think it also gives some feedback how we can improve the process. So you all are definitely invited, and I would also say for input from you all, like everybody else, the other option is you can contact us on our ethics email address.
That's this Wednesday?
This Wednesday,
Okay.
right here at 10 o'clock. Okay. So we certainly welcome that, and I don't say that flippantly, but I realize that all of you come from different backgrounds and probably have had experience in professions or organizations with ethics there. So if you have some insights and things that you saw that are good that we're lacking, this is the time to, we think, to bring this up. As far as I know, there's not been a serious look at the ethics ordinance on this part since 1994. I may be wrong on that. So we really are. We're just looking at, and we're not on some radical change, but if we fine tune or have to make major changes, we want to do it right. We want to have want to have the people involved, at least have their input. We may not agree, but we can also at least respect their positions. I did want to say that Julie and I had spoken to Mr. Ornstein about using some resources from CAECO, and CAECO has an excellent website, as probably you all know. And Julie and I sat down and talked. I asked Mr. Ornstein about, well, what's a model county to use, and he said there is none. He said, but he suggested to give us some guidance, and with Julie's help, we surveyed, or she surveyed, 34 counties that we thought across the state, that, including our adjoining counties, this region, and counties that we thought might be somewhat similar, that would have a major town or city with a rural community as well. So we got some results. Julie provided that and submitted to the Ethics Commission. We'll be talking about those. But that was very insightful on seeing what other communities are doing. And certainly we don't have to do what other communities are doing. But I think it's good to see that what folks across the state have done and some common patterns and some things perhaps that they're doing we might want to consider, and some things that they're not doing that we might want to consider not doing. So that's one of the things that we'll be talking about. And I also want to just say, Julie, I had been working on something unrelated to this for the Ethics Commission on another aspect. I had started going through some counties alphabetically, and before I read your analysis, when I was looking at what they were doing, I said, there's really strong, what you generated corresponds with some other counties too. So I'm very encouraged with what we learned from there. I would also say if there's any counties that you all are familiar with in your work that you would like us to take a look at, we can get that information and look at it and compare it with the other ones as well. I'll give you an example. We did not look for Jefferson County or Fayette County. Nothing against those folks, but we kind of felt like their situation's going to be different. And they may have requirements, might be fit theirs, but not ours. So we certainly would encourage any input from you in that regard.
Yeah, the public wouldn't understand. They don't have county judges anymore. They're merged governments.
Yeah. So, and also one of the things we found in this research is that some counties, that we heard earlier about the counties up in northern Kentucky, you know, there are groups there in the state, like in Barron County, that are joint. They work as a regional thing. But that again, we're not in that. So that sometimes we have to, you know, recognize that may be not appropriate for us necessarily. I did want to say that we have also tried to, in addition to the in-person opportunities, is at both Junction City, I will do this, and at Perryville did this as well, is give them our email address for folks who would like to study the situation and send us what they have to offer. That gives us a written record, which I can share with the commission. And if a question comes about where did that idea come from, or why are you doing that, we have perhaps an opportunity to get that. So we're trying to be user-friendly in this process. And if people are happy or don't have any opinion, that's fine too. But sometimes folks may not want to publicly get up and speak, or they may want to think about it. So that's we're going to use that as our channel. In addition to this, I've done some research not only with the CAECO website, but looking at some other jurisdictions and states with their financial disclosure forms as well. And it is kind of interesting to see some of the trends that we've picked up from other counties are in other places as well. So this is an area where there seems to be an evolution on some things on what folks are doing. It is interesting to see in some places they have different disclosure requirements for different offices within the state or whatever. So I'm not necessarily going to do that, but I'm just saying it's interesting. As somebody pointed out, I spoke to an official, a former county official, and they said, well, you know, looking at this for a board member versus somebody who's got a major procurement position, maybe if we're asking something, everybody, in other words, one size may not fit all. So I think, you know, we want to hear this from people and do what we think is going to be right, and not try to drive people away by being too invasive, but also not so that we're basically not able to be really effective. What I'm coming to you for in terms of feedback today is sharing you with our methodology. I'm looking if there's some things on the course that we're at. We are almost 1/3 of the way through the moratorium, and you will need something from us probably about 5 weeks or so for first reading. So if I'm missing something with this, or some course that you think we could do better, it's helpful for us to know it as soon as possible, because we don't want to come back here with something that there's a void. So if you have any thoughts, I'm certainly open to criticism publicly and also by email. So, or you come Wednesday, and if you like. I don't know how many people are going to show up, but we certainly want to make this an effort that it's going to be the best product that we can put together. So with that being said, I'm open to any questions that you may have or any feedback at this point in time.
All right, well, thank you so much. That's a lot to take in one time, Joe.
Sounds like a lot of good work is being done, and we appreciate your efforts and the committee's work on this, and as well as Julie. But yeah, I think this is going to be a much needed improvement to the process. When it's all said and done, I don't have really any big suggestions.
No.
I'm one that
I think it'll be more board member friendly.
Yeah, it will be, and I've stated this before publicly that I'm one that has not felt like the current form is very invasive, but I also understand people's concerns about it.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for all your work that you've done, Joe.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. And then don't forget Wednesday, if anybody's available, wants to come to that, 10 o'clock. Next is our magistrate, Steve Sleeper, and Homeless Task Force.
Yes, in our last meeting, we approved the list of membership for the task force, but we've attending various events that have dealt with homelessness in the community. We've come up with some additional names that we think would be very beneficial to be on our task force, so I'd like to present those for approval by the court today. You heard from a couple of them today present, so I think they speak for themselves as far as their passion and qualifications. So I'd like to make a motion that these additional names for approval as members of the Boyle County Task Force on Homelessness. Those names are Sue Andress, Tanya Buchanan, Jordan Birchfield, Ashley Dowell, Gina Evergreen, and Stacy Ford. I'd like to make that motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second by Magistrate Ellis to add additional members to the Homeless Task Force. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. You've got you quite a little task force going on, Magistrate Sleeper. That's awesome.
I'm excited about the makeup of the task force.
I'm glad that so many people are interested and want to help in this specific instance, so that's great. Okay, next we have our magistrate reports, and Magistrate Gay, we'll start with you today.
All right. Well, we talked about the fact that the Finance Committee met on the 4th with EMS, and I think we've pretty well covered that. I do need to get my report typed up, but it was a busy week last week for the Finance Committee, because we also met on the 7th to talk about our health plan and where that stands. And the good news is that our new and improved employee health plan, as far as who pays for what, seems to be a hit to the point that it's going to be a little more than we had anticipated to cover the cost of the health plan. And I know there was recently Darlene shared a roster,
Census.
Census, thank you, that's the word I was looking for. And so what's happened is we definitely have more employees, in particular family plan employees, taking advantage of the health plan. And it ends up costing, the projected cost per employee is $18,416 on an annual basis. And the plan was based on us having 112 basically units on the plan, and that number is coming in at
131.
I was gonna say, I think it's gonna have another couple, so
yeah,
maybe
so
133 now.
So we're up about 20 additional people on the plan, and so that obviously you can do the math, and it doesn't take long at $18,000 per unit to cause the plan to go up. So there is going to be a budget impact that we're going to have to monitor and keep an eye on. The committee felt that it's important that we continue on this course because of the value to retention and our just employee support, and as part of the compensation package that we're faced with in a very competitive market. And so, you know, I believe, and I think the committee did, and those that were in this discussion feel like it's important for us to proceed down this path. But there is going to be an increase in the number. We're still letting the dust kind of settle at this point in time, and we feel like once we get through this transition period of this being part of the county's benefit package, that once the dust settles, it'll smooth out and we'll have a better idea moving forward as we budget. We did have, and I'm drawing a blank on her name right now, that joined us by call from our insurance broker, Lisa Stan so she was on the phone with us and was part of the conversation on the 7th as we discussed with her and the reason for some of these higher numbers than we originally were given. And then, so that happened, and then the good news that is that's you know a budget number that we're going to have to handle. But the good news was on that same day, we also received word that our retirement contribution rates are going down. Our hazardous rate is going from, these are rounded numbers, from 44% down to 38%. So that's a good number. And our non-hazardous is going down from 23% down to 19% as far as our contribution to retirement. So those are also very good numbers. And that's all I have to report.
All right, well, thank you for that very extensive report.
Yeah.
Very thorough.
And I guess I'll make a motion to approve the Finance Committee reports from Monday the 4th and, what was that, Wednesday the 7th or Thursday the 7th? Thursday the 7th.
Yeah.
4th and 7th. Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Magistrate Sleeper. Any discussion on the Finance Committee report? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you, Magistrate Gay. Magistrate Sleeper?
Yes, Center College had conducted a survey on homelessness, and the research team presented their findings on November 30th, which some of us attended, and I have the statistics if anybody's interested. I wasn't going to go over them in court here, but if you would like a copy of their findings, I can give that to you. Just let me know. A public forum was held at City Hall on December 6th, and the attendance was overflowing. Judge Bottom made reference to the overwhelming interest in the homeless situation, and it was the meeting room was overflowing. They went to the training room and it was overflowing, I understand. So that's a tremendous amount of interest that we're thankful for. It was a listening forum. There were not solutions presented or anything like that. It was just for people to listen to what's being done and the needs. There were many examples of homelessness and the efforts of many individuals and groups that are currently working independently. Those were presented, and it's, a lot of it is going on by smaller individuals and groups, and if hopefully I will seek that the task force to kind of coordinate and cooperate with all these different entities. There was one woman who presented that she has a mobile shower that she could donate for use, which is a tremendous thing, and a lot of other people that are in groups that are doing a great deal, but of course they're limited because they're small. But if we can get our efforts combined, we can bear great resources to bear on this situation. I envisage our task force coordinating those efforts with the various groups. Thursday, December 14th, that's this Thursday at 8:30, there's going to be an opportunity to help pack duffel bags for the homeless. And that's going to take place at the Heart of Kentucky United Way office at 118 North 3rd Street, if anybody's interested in coming and helping out with that.
What time was that?
Pardon me?
What time?
8:30 a.m.
Thank you.
And I'll be there, and some other folks I know. I don't want to steal anybody else's thunder like the judge, but I would like to thank the Department of Public Works for the truck and the trailer and the way it was decorated was
So
very good.
nice.
You
It was
guys
awesome.
did
Really
a
nice.
Super job, yeah. And I like what Ryder said. He told me, he said, well, I think we did a pretty good job for a couple country boys. And also, I like to thank Judge Bottom for the county Christmas luncheon. That was very nice.
Thank you.
That's it.
All right, thank you very much. Magistrate Ellis?
Thank you, Judge. First of all, I'd like to thank Joe. I'm glad you're still here because I know the tedium of going through that ethics project and the hours that you put in, and Julie as well, and committee members. Regrettably, for 2 months, I've had an out-of-town engagement scheduled for Wednesday. I'd love to be there, but I cannot, so thank you for what you're doing. Secondly, I hope that I know everybody's been downtown, but I hope you've seen the project on the shingling of the Constitution Square buildings. It's just extraordinary. So much so that when we needed some help from Channel 56 regarding the rabies, we ended up with a threefer. We got taken about the rabies situation. The judge was on television explaining that, and then other stations apparently have picked up on it now. I don't know who contacted them. Secondly, we were able to get Casey McCoy on for the clerk's office, and still yet to be shown. There's going to be a feature not only on the shake shingles, but about the importance of Constitution Square. So, and there was a small article in the newspaper this week, if you haven't seen it, where the judge was quoted about what we're doing on Constitution Square. I do want to follow up, and Julie, if you want me to do it, or if we can go in concert with Mr. Blevins at the Health Department, I want to talk about the long-range idea of what we could be doing sometime next year to abate that problem of not having refrigeration and not having the kind of coverage that they would need. And again, I'm glad that the woman who was here mentioned
Victoria.
The idea that they are covered under the Good Samaritan law, so I think that would help. But if we can ease that concern, that appropriate concern that the health department has, that would be wonderful. My last item is pretty exciting here this morning. If you don't know Kerry King, he is the past state chair of the Cattlemen's Association and the past national chair of the Cattlemen's Association. He contacted me over the weekend. There is an initiative proposed that will come up in the General Assembly. Very few people know that as small a county as we are, Judge, are we 7th or 8th smallest geographically in the state? I know it's right in that range, but we are Cattle King, Kentucky, in terms of the cattle produced right here in Boyle County. And of course, Kerry King is just over the line in Mercer County. His wife is Kim King, longtime wonderful state representative. But Kerry contacted me because there is a proposed Cattlemen's Black Angus Research Center that UK is proposing opening up in Versailles. It's really exciting. He's been up in Ohio, visiting in Worcester, Ohio, a similar program that showcases cattle and even has their own kitchen and everything. But what it would do is promote Kentucky cattle if UK is able to get the funding. So I have committed to contact all the legislators who might listen to me, and I encourage you all to do as well. I'll try to get something out so that you'll know exactly what it's about. But if they can get the funding in the 2024 General Assembly, it's an exciting new research project that University of Kentucky would have over in Versailles. So I'll try to get something to you. Judge, that's all I have today.
Thank you, Master Ellis, and we appreciate you setting up Channel 56 for all those informative stories that have been going on. They're all very important, so we appreciate
Thank you.
appreciate you taking charge of that. Master Bowden.
Yes, I'm gonna submit the EMS committee meeting report. We had 635 runs in November, so they had a busy November. And of course, we've already spoken about the rate adjustments, and we have, he did say we've got a new truck that'll be delivered December the 22nd. That was ordered 4 years ago. 4 years ago. So, you know, that's amazing that you have to wait for that.
EMS has put their Christmas order in early.
4 years. 4 years.
Come on, Santa.
It takes Santa a long time
I
to
know,
build
those
those
elves have been
trucks.
working hard.
And he did discuss about the Samsara, the driving software that they use to help train their drivers. They found some inconsistency in the scoring, and so they're not using the part of that program that scores them because of some inconsistencies. But they are looking into other software to see others that might be more effective for them. And Terry had 36 home visits, and he had the substance use disorder, 8 cases, 4 overdoses, 0 deaths, which is always good. 2 alcohol, 3 fentanyl, 1 marijuana, and I think there was 1 heroin, but I didn't write it down. He referred 2 people to the Isaiah house, gave out some Narcan, and then on the mental health issue, he dealt with 4 anxiety cases, 3 suicide attempts or ideation, but no deaths from that. So that's another good. And did some welfare checks. And I'd like to submit this as our EMS committee report.
Okay, that's your motion?
Yes, I got my signature. And I make a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Master Gay. Any discussion? All those in favor of the EMS committee report, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Thank you.
And then, it's the Junction City Parade at 6.
6.
I did not write
Yes.
that down.
6 o'clock Saturday night.
We've got the Junction City Parade scheduled for next Saturday night. Hopefully weather will be good. It'll occur on Saturday. I had a great time at the Christmas parade, and I really did appreciate their float. The public works worked so hard on it, and then I jumped off of it. The mayor was looking for somebody to walk, so I jumped off and walked, and I had the best time. And the mayor ran up to me and he said, "Look, look," and I looked up. Everybody was a block ahead of us, and I was like, oh, I was talking to all the kids, and nicely, Ryder didn't run over me or anything, or blow the horn. Go, Miss Bowden. So it was funny. But they really appreciated all the work they did on that.
Awesome.
Let's see. Of course, I spent the last time watching my grandson play football. He won his 4th championship. My younger grandson, his 3rd state championship in football. And I'll miss Avery being there next year, but we still have Austin. And Avery will go to the next level, so we'll watch and hear from him. But it's neat for Boyle County to get to number 12, and I've enjoyed watching all these all over the years. So, let's see, I was glad to hear that we're going to take the dead animal and wash it out somewhere else. We've got to get Angie Muncie on that task and get that completed. And looking forward to the last meeting of the year. I've learned so much from when I came in here in January with my eyes this big, because I've been in healthcare and education, and I've not done anything like this. So I hopefully we'll start out 2024 more learned on what it takes for the government. I had no clue, no clue. So hopefully I'll do better next year. And that's all I've got.
You've been doing just fine, Mr. Bodner. You've been doing just fine. All right, thank you.
Truly write that for you.
No, she did very well. She does very well on her own. Magistrate Harmon.
Well, we got the chicken shack open.
Oh, that's good.
And Shirley cut the ribbon.
Yeah.
Did a fine job.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
And our county attorney,
yeah,
he performed well.
Thank you.
He loves chicken.
Me too.
Chick-fil-A chicken.
That's right.
But it was a well represented by the court and other folks, and we know they'll be successful. They've been lined up at the entrance to Lowe's ever since they've been open.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a good company. They're good folks. The manager and his wife, they reside in Junction City. So, Magistrate Bodner, you'll have to go by quite often.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Visit them.
Nate and Sarah.
Might get a chick.
A live one.
Right, a real one.
All right.
Want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And sorry I couldn't make the parade, but sorry don't cut it.
It's okay.
It's no problem to be sorry.
It's all right. It's all
But
right.
I saw you had fun. That's
It
good.
was, yes.
That's
Fun.
good.
Good time.
Yeah.
Good time.
That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Attorney Henry.
Oh, the parade was great. Had a lot of fun. Those of you that weren't able to attend really missed out because I've never seen so many people spread out through downtown Danville.
Huge.
It was huge.
It's really huge, and I had fun participating in it. It was hard competing with Trilly to be the most flashiest person on the float.
You were flashy.
We need to be one on each side.
Because everybody's like, Trilly, Trilly.
Apparently they didn't need Rudolph.
I heard maybe one Chris, but it's hard to compete with Trilly. But it was a lot of fun, and so I'm glad. Thank you all for asking me to be on the parade float with you all. And it was also nice for Chick-fil-A to invite us last Wednesday prior to their opening. Nate and Sarah are very nice. I think that Chick-fil-A is a great addition to our community. They're very community oriented, and they just give back and to our community. So we're very lucky to have Chick-fil-A here. And Junction City Parade, you said it's the Saturday at 6. So that should be fun. I've participated in that before, so good time. Just been eating a lot here lately with all these events.
Tell me about it.
So I've enjoyed it. Got to exercise too. And that's all I have.
I just want to say on the float, I felt invisible standing between Trilly and
You were.
But you got some good photos. I've seen a lot of pictures with you in there, and you look great. All right, Julie?
I don't know.
Darlene? Okay, I'll close this out. So kudos again to Public Works for their job that's well done on the, we'll call it a float, decorated trailer. And it will be the same trailer Saturday night for the Junction City Parade, so anybody that can come, just meet at the park and we'll all ride through there, and I'll be flashy and you can be flashy. How about that? Also, reminder, the courthouse will be closed tomorrow for the Governor Beshear's inauguration activities in Frankfurt, so anyone that is going to that, courthouse will be closed. Wednesday, reminder, our city-county lunch will be at the showroom from 11 to 1, so that's all city-county, and that is provided by the VFW. Let's see. Our reminder, our next court meeting will be Thursday, 12/21, and that will also be a special meeting. So if you need anything on that agenda, please make sure to get it to Katina. Otherwise, we won't be able to discuss anything that's not on the agenda. So that will be a special meeting as well. Again, the courthouse will be closed the 25th and 26th, and the 29th and January 1. So that last week, there's actually only 2 days that the courthouse will actually be open, because the rest falls under the holiday schedule. So, and as far as I know, that is solar. Go ahead.
You were going to update everybody that you will have the solar ordinance at the next meeting.
Okay.
We will extend the moratorium for to January 9th, so that if you do pass the first reading, we'll have the second reading on the 9th.
Right, I've been working on that. I submitted it to people.
Yep.
And also, today while we were here in the court, I submitted some suggestions of some things that model ordinance didn't include. I've been going through other counties that have already passed solar ordinances, which we have one, but we're amending.
Right.
We'll be amending ours, but that deals with things like putting trees, staggering trees so many feet high, like so high, of fences that you need to have, limiting the acreage to X number of acres. There's just different things that I think we should include in the ordinance, and I just made suggestions because I don't make the laws. I just put it in
You just follow the
writing
law,
after you guys come up with what you want. So just look at some of my suggestions. You probably have other items that I haven't even thought of that you want to include in the ordinance. So I know Tom has. So just let me know.
Okay, so we'll present that at the next meeting.
Judge, did you have any other items?
I do not.
Could we adjourn in memory and appreciation of Governor Julian Carroll, who passed away Saturday morning?
Thank you, I had not heard that.
He was 92.
Yeah, and I think that's a great suggestion. I was also going to suggest that we adjourn in recognition and celebration of the Boyle County Rebels 12th state championship and the Bodner boys as part of that state championship. And then I also would encourage us to invite Dylan and some representatives
We're working on that.
to join us at the first of the year.
We are working on that. Okay, thank you both. So we will ask for a motion to adjourn in memory of Governor Julian Carroll and also in recognition and celebration of the Boyle County Rebels state championship. Have a motion by Magistrate Ellis, second by Magistrate Bodner. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. We're adjourned.